We've built several different PCs here in the studio. I don't know what this is doing in here. This is going to be Pistol's PC, and this is a mug. I want to say thanks to our sponsor, Fractal Design. You're looking at my new case, the Define R5. They've kept the clean Scandinavian design, and they've kept the silence, but they've also added a Moduvent system that allows you to choose between more cooling or more silence. Speaking of cooling, you can fit up to a 420 radiator in the top, a 360 radiator in the front, 240 in the bottom, and also a 140 in the rear. So lots of cooling options. For more information, be sure to click on the link on the screen, and be sure to check out our full video overview. We just built several of these, well, not the exact same system, but several very similar systems. Pistols is based around the MSI X99 SLI Plus, or the X99 SSLI Plus. Now, I cannot believe what you get for the money with this motherboard. It goes on sale a lot. It's around the $200 to $225 mark, and it's completely loaded. Usually when you drop down to this price point, you're sacrificing, several different things, but this one has several PCI Express ports. It's full-size motherboard, 12 USB 3 ports, 10 SATA 3 ports. You've got the M.2, so that's nice to have on board. And we've just decided to grab this one and load it full of stuff. I was a little worried when I saw the price. I thought, you know what, there's going to be some memory incompatibility or whatever, and there may have been in the earlier UEFI versions, but got it, updated it, everything works perfectly, and it was extremely easy to overclock. I'm saying easier. It was easier than my PC to overclock. We're able to push this thing to 4.4, 4.3. I believe we ended up staying at 4.3 because we're on air cooling. So I am really impressed with the MSI X99 SSLI Plus. Probably my choice if you're on a budget, but you want X99, and I think a lot of the people in our audience are going to fall into that category. For the CPU, we've got the Intel i7 5820K. Now, let me tell you what I like about this CPU. It may not be as insane as the 8-core, but it's like way cheaper in comparison, and it's only slightly slower when rendering as far as video games and that sort of thing. It's about the same speed. It even has a frequency advantage out of the box. I love the fact that it's a 6-core for this price. Compared this to like any of the Z97 stuff, blows it out of the water. Just completely blows it out of the water. Maybe not for gaming, but for productivity. So it's really a sweet spot for the price, the performance ratio, gaming, and what you get for your money, man. For the RAM, we went crazy because we need a lot of RAM. These are going to be used for, editing, rendering, gaming. We're never going to need this much for gaming, but we're doing 4K stuff here in the studio, and that takes, especially once you have that layered a few times, it's going to get a bit ridiculous. So we've decided to pick up the Corsair Vengeance LPX, 64 gigabytes of that memory. This is the pack that we have here, completely populated, all of those RAM slots, quad channel goodness, yes, and lots of RAM is going to be the ticket for us. And I've had absolutely zero problems with this Corsair memory. I put the same thing in my own system, and it's been awesome. Graphics card. She decided to stay AMD for the graphics. If she couldn't stay AMD for the CPU, she's staying AMD for the graphics card. And this one's a bit special. It's the Sapphire Radeon Vapor XR9 290X, 8 gigabytes of GDDR5 in this graphics card. And that may not help too much in games. She is going to be playing at 21:9, which is 2560 by 1080, so it may help a little bit for some of the games that are more demanding with all the filters on and that sort of thing. But the main thing that's going to be nice about that the 8 gigabytes of GDDR5 is the fact that when you're doing video editing, rendering, and that sort of thing, the bigger frame buffer is going to help, as long as whatever program you're using is compatible with OpenCL and supports the graphics card. So other than that, it's just 290X. We were going to kind of wait for this video until the 390X came out, but we're like, screw it, we'll make it now, and then we'll, do an update showing how much better the 390X is compared to this one. All right, for the storage, we've got a lot of different things going on with storage because, when you're building a productivity system, you want to have different storage options under the hood. So the first thing is the OS and some of the main programs, like the Creative Suite or whatever else, whatever else you're going to be using for productivity, Blender, whatever. Samsung XP941, this is 256 gigabytes of speed. It's only a PCI Express 2.0 by 4 M.2, but that still is going to give you more speed than any standard SSD out there. We're talking like 1,000 plus on the read and 800 plus on the write. One thing I will recommend, if you're going to grab one of these, just go online and get a tiny heatsink and stick it on there because they do get kind of warm. So that's the primary. This is the big one, and it's probably the most important in the entire system. The Corsair Neutron XT960 Phison-based sustained write speeds are crazy on this. And 960 gigabytes. That's what I'm talking about. And the read and write is like, it's best in the business for this one. We got 3 of these things and put them in each system that we built. The idea is this is going to be for scratch disk for any editing that we're doing. Whenever I'm doing any editing on my own system, it all goes onto this drive. Whenever, you know, whatever games you want to load quickly, especially games that have a lot of mods like Skyrim, put it on this. So we're using it as gaming, and, you know, it's probably in that order. Probably gaming and then productivity. Got to have your priorities straight, man. You got to be happy or you never get anything done. And don't you forget it, you quit. For storage, you want something that's reliable. 3 terabytes is not a lot of storage, but that's why there's a freaking NAS in the closet. We've got HGST hard drives coming out of our ears. And for this one, we're going to use a 3 terabyte HGST hard drive. It says NAS on it, but that's okay. You can put a NAS drive in a computer. Don't let anyone tell you that you can't put a NAS drive in a regular computer. And you know what? Get the fucking one you want. Get the 4 terabyte, get the 5, whatever. The price on the 3 terabyte is ridiculously low right now, and you know what? Come at me, Western Digital. Come at me, Seagate. HGSTs are bulletproof. They're so reliable. So I quite enjoy those, and that's why we've got 10 of these laying around, and we're getting ready to build a NAS. So, yep, that'll be fun. We really need a new NAS, and I'm glad we're using HGST. All right, let's take a look at the case. My speech is impedimenting. The Silent Base 800 from Be Quiet. All right, so the Silent Base 800, here's the story on this. Out of all the silent cases that we've had in the studio so far, I'm not going to come out and say this is my favorite. I do like the aesthetic. It actually has an aesthetic as opposed to being just a big box that you put a lot of stuff in and put in the floor and never look at again. It actually has a bit of an aesthetic, but it still remains professional. All right, move the aesthetics aside. It's extremely quiet. Yes, it's the easiest to build in out of all the different silent cases that I've built with so far. The easiest to build in. Has some really innovative features, plenty of room under the hood. I have absolutely no complaints with this case. For the money, really good way to go. The power supply, Fractal design, Newton R3 1000 watt power supply. Need lots of good power going to this system. So it's also semi-modular, which is nice. You got the snake coming out of the back there. And then you can plug in just what you need and keep the rest of it in the closet. Whatever you like there. So platinum is what I'm talking about. Okay, the heatsink and the cooling unit. So we did something really kind of crazy here, and I'm sure, you know, companies out there like Noctua and Thermalright are going to pull their hair out when they see what we did. But we took the Macho Zero, which is probably the best passive cooling unit I've ever seen. It's just huge. It almost feels hoity-toity. You put these like fancy butler gloves on and you put it into your system. So we put it in there and we're like, you know what? It actually runs okay. You just can't overclock it that well. And whenever you're doing 100% load for a good period of time, it gets pretty hot, but not incredibly hot. It actually worked without a fan, but we decided to put a fan on there. So we got the Noctua NFA15 fan and we put it onto the Thermalright. Unholy union. It's awful, but it works. It is super quiet. We were able to overclock this to 4.3 gigahertz. Can't hear it at all. We'll be doing another video showing you guys what program she's using and also just showing you her desk setup. That's everything from her keyboard, mouse, monitors, favorite, I guess, flight stick, whatever else she uses. I don't even know. Foot pedals. Hey, how about you guys subscribe to everything? There are some links on the screen. We put them there for your benefit. It's not for us. It's for you guys. You click on those, and they'll take you to the store. Buy a t-shirt, or I will send mosquitoes to your truck. They'll all be in there in your glove box. You'll open it up when you're looking for your gloves, and you'll be like covered in mosquitoes. So buy a shirt. Video's been over 5 times. The hell? Must be midnight. And it's okay to put a NAS hard drive in a computer. Don't let anybody let you not put one in there. What kind of talk is that? Don't tell anybody, no, don't you let any, that's it. Don't you let anybody tell you not to put a NAS drive in a not a NAS. Shut me up. Somebody shut me up. I don't know what she's got in there, man. It's a bunch of weirdness. She's a girl. It's just a bunch of makeup. They can't play video games. Hey, you're a girl. You play games? No, you don't. If you really play games, well then who's the boss of Metroid, huh? Who's the boss? Oh, it's Mother Brain. You didn't know that because you're a girl. Guys, if you meet a girl gamer and you try to qualify her saying she's not a gamer, you.